going on, 5'9 gamers? My name is Joe Wags, and today I will be your host for your favorite podcast, the Dokkan Battle Podcast. Our podcast is presented to you by 5'9 Gaming and our good friends at Manscaped. Manscaped is your source for all your male hygiene needs, and 5'9 is your source for all things gaming, anime, and entertainment related. Be sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things 5'9. Today's episode is number 94, Seeing Red Zone Again. Today, we've got a lot to talk about. Global, we've got the very hard red zone stages. JP's got a few things to talk about as well, but I can't do this alone. I've got some amazing guests with me. So first up, I am happy to introduce the master of the slime gacha, Ice Cold Joker. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, except I still can't beat Omega or Broly.
They are very hard. We'll talk about them, but very frustrating fights for sure. But you're summoned on the friend banner now, right? You're taking my advice. You got to summon on that thing.
This entire podcast I will dedicate to friend summons.
All right. And then next up, we've got the man who got 5th place in Golf with Friends, Minato. How are you doing today?
It's me. You know, I thought that you were going to bring up the fact that I streamed last week, but I made sure I clicked hit start recording instead of start streaming, right?
I didn't want to remind you in case you're doing it again, because I want your viewers, your subscribers to get a good show, you know? So one of these days they're going to catch an interesting stream from you.
Yeah, for sure, right? Make sure you go ahead and follow me on Twitch. I'm just kidding.
Shameless plug.
Yeah. And last but not least, we've got everyone's favorite dude, Tystra. How are you doing today?
What is going on, my dudes? And I had to actually look over to the right to make sure that I was recording instead of streaming myself, because I was like, wait, that might be something I might do.
Freaking amateurs over here.
Otherwise, I'm doing great. It's been a fantastic week for sure.
Yeah, things are kind of slowing down on the anniversary a little bit, but still some exciting things to come. So let's jump into global. We are in part 3 right now. So we've got the big boy red zone stages. So we've got Broly, Omega, Bojack. To me, those are like the big 3. But we'll kind of get everybody's opinions on how those stages are going. So Joker, you kind of brought it up already. So overall, how are your runs going? Tell us about how Broly and Omega are making things difficult for you.
Well, I don't have Cell, so that kind of restricts one of those 200% teams. Majin Vegeta's team is still pretty meh without the Vegeta and Trunks until, November or something. And then when I try and run the Super Saiyan 4s or Gods, something happens. I don't know what happens, but it's the wrong super attack. It's the AoE, it's something, and I just end up dying. Or Omega just locks, and then someone's dead. I tried using Ginyu Force as well, even like with golden freezes on it. Something happens and I die. All the other stages were fine. They were like 1 or 2 tries and we were done. But Broly and Omega are continually kicking my behind, and I don't enjoy it.
Yeah, they're very difficult. Tystra, how's it been for you over there?
So I am going to be saving all of my Redstone stage stuff until a stream, but I have been talking with a lot of my community members who also play Dokkan, and Bojack has been their kryptonite in this sense. And I gotta say, a lot of people from what I saw on Twitter were underestimating Bojack, and I feel that he's actually been one of the stronger ones to really mess up a lot of runs.
Yeah, for me, so I have beaten all the stages. Broly was the toughest. It took me 7 attempts, so I had to wait 3 days of tries to get Broly done. I finally got it done. But right now, after experiencing it all, I'm saying Broly's number 1, and I've actually got Bojack at number 2 above Omega. I think Bojack is actually harder than Omega. I thought he was very difficult. The Broly team, the team that ended up getting me through, here I'm actually loading up my game right now because I got my previous team, but I did do the Tech Gods as a leader team with Tech God Goku, but Int Broly was really good in there, and then actually LR Tech Gogeta really helped because he's got the 5-turn scouter, but when he's got that scouter, he's got 30% damage reduction. That allowed him to tank an AoE from Broly for only 100k. I was able to get through an AoE Broly turn without using a Whis. That allowed me to coast through and have Whis for the last phase. I think that's really the hard part about Broly, is trying to sneak through that AoE phase. And then I had the physical year 3 LR, and then I had the Super Saiyan 4 monkeys on that team. So that's how I kind of got through. Minato, do you just want to give more insight to players on these hard stages since you've had a lot more experience than us?
I mean, I actually would agree with you, Joe, basically with what you said in the rankings. They're all difficult stages, and at the end of the day, it depends on what your box looks like, the characters, dupe levels you have, your own experience with just plain RNG, right? You could have had the worst luck against Bojack. I've seen people have really struggled with the Shadow Dragons fight, right? Stuff like that. So I think that, you don't want to underestimate any of these stages, especially, clearing it once and saying, oh, this stage is easy. I would say, you could have got lucky, stuff like that, right? But definitely these stages are the hardest ones in the game by far, and don't feel too bad if you can't beat one of them now. There's going to be, of course, plenty of options in the future, and once you get Vegeta and Trunks, for sure you'll be able to probably beat that stage you're having difficult with. Or Worldwide Celebration, right? They're probably going to destroy that too.
Yeah, so I did beat all the stages, but I didn't record them all initially. So I went actually today, just before the podcast, I was re-recording some of my runs to beat him again. And against Bojack today, it took me 3 tries to beat him. And I think my initial run also took me 3 tries. And part of it is even that first phase, they can catch you off guard. Those minions can hit you for like 300k if you got the wrong unit in that spot. But my 2 deaths today were actually self-inflicted. I put STR Vegito in front of some attacks to counter, thinking he'd be fine. He was taking 200k normals during the second phase of Bojack. So that STR Vegito, I really wish he had a little bit of damage reduction or something. But he just gets you killed if you're trying to tank him and do his counters. So that's the one thing I noticed with STR Vegito, man. He just gets crushed in there. But he's so valuable for the scouter. Yeah, Minato.
Yeah, I would say he definitely is good for the scouter if you're able to hide him a little. For that, that's definitely what you have to do.
Yep.
And I was gonna make another point that you brought up. With Bojack, like the minions, they have attack stats of like nearing like 550, 600k, right? So it's like kind of like a super battle royale type fight. And people are gonna think, oh, the minions, you can stack up like that, but they can hit you pretty hard if your units don't stack up quickly. So just keep that in mind for the Bojack fight. I'm sure most people have tried it at this point, obviously. So let us know how your guys' runs did in the comments. I kind of want to see that for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, while we're on the topic of Red Zone, did anybody here pull anything good on their Red Zone tickets? I'll jump out and say I pulled crap. Nothing on any of my Red Zone tickets. Anybody get fire?
I think I pulled a baby, and that's about it.
An LR baby?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
but
great.
He's already
that's
rainbowed, so.
Oh well, then that stinks. I would take it because I think I need a copy of him yet. Anybody else? Or I guess Tyster, you haven't been doing them yet, so you don't have tickets yet.
No, not
Minato?
yet. No.
Minato, did you pull anything on JP? Do you remember?
Yeah, I was gonna say on JP I got LR Janemba, Super Janemba, which is really good.
Nice.
And then I got LR Super 17 off the GT ones, and I got a couple of solid units overall, right? I mean, like especially like the movie banner, you have like Tech God Goku featured, right? STR God Vegeta is still really good. You have some nice gems in there for sure, and GT Trunks and Pan, GT Goku Trunks and Pan, they got their EZA and JP recently, so that baby could get an EZA soon. So Joker, you hold on to that. Maybe you want to change one of the potential paths or something, right? Unless you you could hold on to TURs and stuff if you're that kind of person too, right? It's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of already got rid of them.
The TUR too?
Oh no, I don't have the. Well, actually, do I have a TUR already? I don't know.
I was gonna say, like, at the very least, keep the TUR, or you could just change the hidden potential for free, right?
See, I have TURs of like the LR Super Saiyan 4s, but I've already like fed dupes into them, and then it's like I want to use them.
I mean, that's fair, right?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting their EZA during the Annie, so when I was doing that.
I see. Okay, well, that's a Joker L.
One of many, part of all.
Yeah. Well, does anybody else have anything else to say on Red Zone before we move on?
I'm currently attempting Omega, so I'll let you
know.
All
right. We'll give you that podcast luck. Podcast luck is definitely a thing. It worked for Ningen on some polls, so it'll work for you getting through. And this is a good time, Joker. We'll pause for a minute for a word from our sponsor, and you go ahead and beat Omega during that time. So everyone check out this little ad from Manscaped. We'll be right back.
Support for the show is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer just for you. You can get 20% off and a free worldwide shipping discount with the code down below on your screen right now at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, that equates to around 8 million balls. So basically, we received the Performance Package 4.0 in the mail, and we're going to go through quickly what came in the package. So first things first, we did receive the Manscaped Weed Whacker. That's the first thing here, obviously. This is the electric nose and hair trimmer. Then they actually did provide us with some boxer briefs right here. Then we actually ended up getting the lawnmower trimmer over here. Then we ended up getting the crop preserver, which is a deodorizer, very useful. And then we got the crop reviver, which is a toner. So this package, very, very useful if you guys are interested in this. Even if you yourself are not going to use this, you can buy it as a gift for somebody. But yeah, just don't forget that in order to get this, you have to use the code. Well, you don't have to use the code down below, but it would give you a big discount if you use the code down below. 20% off and free shipping with the code. Depending on what podcast you guys are watching right now, it'll be different. But the code right here on your screen is what you use to get the 20% discount as well as the free shipping. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
All right, well, we are back, and on Global, we are now going to jump into the LR EZAs. This is for the Year 3 units. We talked about them a little bit last week, but we've actually had a chance to use them now. So, Tystra, have you had a chance to use these units? What are your thoughts on the Year 3 LRs?
Int Vegeta supremacy, of course. But, they're as good as they're going to be right now. Obviously, they're going to get outclassed in the extra part when, the SSJ4s come out, but I still feel that they're pretty good, obviously, I prefer Int Vegito just because of the fact that, Vegito is better than Gogeta. Plus the kit was a little bit better fleshed out. I love counters over the, sorry.
Wow. Fake fan.
No, he can't even
brain,
talk about it because he's lying through his teeth.
God. I like the
That's
counters
wild.
more than being super effective against all types personally, just because I like the defensive capabilities of that. And I just prefer Patara over fusions anyway. So, but overall they're good. Like I wouldn't say that they're mid, but.
No, they're definitely not mid because they're both red zone viable, and that alone is good enough to say that they're fantastic units. Joker, what are your thoughts on these units?
I mean, I thought Tysher and I were friends, but apparently since he's a Vegeta lover, I guess that friendship is over. Sadly enough, I do have to agree with him though. Gogeta is a terrible. His EZA is so very underwhelming, and Vegeta is very clearly the better EZA out of both of them. I did have them fuse for me once, and then, surprise, Gogeta got me killed, so that was fun. Overall, I think they're good. It's just their base forms. They're so very basic, I guess. They don't really do much of anything to really make them very powerful, and it takes 6 turns for them to transform. So, yeah, you can get it in the hard, long fights, but you're going to be spending a lot of your time in that base form, and until they super attack, their defense is good but not great, and they're not really bringing too much as far as kit is concerned. And then once Vegeta transforms, then it's a different story. Gogeta technically the same, but I think they're good. They're just not overwhelmingly good like a anniversary LR EZA you would think should be.
Yeah, the one thing I like about their base forms is they did give them some dodge chance, which I think helps them out. I noticed that I think they wanted Gogeta to be a little bit more offensive and Vegito to be a little bit more defensive. I know as pre-transform, Gogeta tends to hit a little bit harder for me. I've gotten him upwards to 8 mil before on attack stats. But then after transformed, Vegito will still put up like 7 mil attack stats, but he's got all the counters. So in the end, Vegito's the better offensive and defensive unit, so he just wins out all in all there. So Minato, do you have any thing to add on these? I know you've talked about them last week as well, but
I just think that the base form should have had a little more. I think that defensively they are a little too sore, especially against normal attacks. If they don't dodge and you get caught, you get hit really hard against the really difficult bosses. And for example, Gogeta, you bring him in the Omega fight because obviously there's 2 end phases and you want the fusion. If he gets tagged by STR Sin, like today I had him take like 280k damage on a normal, right? It's like they either should have had instead of the crit chance, like 30% crit, damage reduction, 30% would be such a huge difference, right? Or just give him a high chance to dodge and then get rid of the crit, right? something like that, just to improve the base forms a little. They weren't given enough love. And something else I want to mention that no one else really mentioned, I find that I tend to have some key issues with them at times, especially if you're not able to run an orb changer on the team, which there are some good orb changers. Excuse me, my throat. I just got stuck in something. There are some good orb changers in the game, but there's like you're not always going to be able to have an orb changer, like say with them on rotation or something, right? So if you don't get the rainbow orbs, since their key passive wasn't updated, they don't get key sometimes, and it can be very annoying to not hit high key like that.
Yeah, what I'll say to piggyback off of that is the red zone MVP is Weirus. Weirus has been so, like, he has done me no wrong in red zone. He dodges when I want him to dodge. He orb changes and makes all those units look so good. So Weirus, if you guys all got Weirus, you got to get him awakened in Easy 8. He is so good. He's been one of my red zone MVPs. Also, we got much more exciting. We did get free to play EZAs, right? I don't know if you guys have tried these monsters out yet. But I've definitely tried them out. But I'll get your guys' opinion first. Joker, do you have any opinions on the free-to-play EZAs that came?
They're so good, I haven't done them yet.
Fantastic.
No, that's not true. I've done them for the tickets, but I haven't used them at all. That's
okay.
They're so very underwhelming. I don't care.
Yeah, Tystra, how about you? Have you used the free-to-plays yet?
Yes, and they're okay.
They're okay.
They're not great. There's definitely better options for free to play EZA like characters out there, but they're okay. I wasn't excited for them. I just wanted my tickets.
Yeah. So I've used them all. I did showcases on them all. And I would say, like, for a new player coming into the game that has no perspective on like what free to play should do, I could see them looking at that LR trio and being like, oh wow, they're hitting like 5 mil attack stats. They got like 200 to 300k defense. They're pretty solid. But for veteran players, like, we will directly compare them to the year 6 free to plays, and the year 6 free to plays, which were obviously a year older, they're all better. Like, you compare Roshi to this LR, Roshi's hitting 5 mil attack stats, can dodge, can support, does revive. Like, he's got all this utility that this LR trio doesn't have. And then when you look at the other two free to plays, the Goku Chi-Chi, the Vegeta Bulma, like, why they thought it was okay to make them 22% support units? Like, why was that okay when you've got Tien and Roshi as just a 40% support, like, all the time with no conditions? Not to mention the Vegeta has to do his costume change to get an extra 2% onto his support. I was actually like, I don't know. I was just like so upset about it during my video. I'm like, why can they do this? And I get it. They're stuck on this idea of having the 22 in there. So why not just do two 22% supports and make them 44% supports? Like, they're just not that good. The Chi-Chi has the value in that she has that Ghost Usher. Like, but outside of that, that's it. She's got like nothing. Minato, did you want to throw in anything on the free to plays, or is that pretty much sum it up?
Yeah, they're underwhelming. You guys pretty well summed it up, right? The only like actual thing that's like interesting is that Ghost Usher effect that the Chi-Chi and Goku have, but outside of that, nothing really like, anything that you would go crazy over. But keep in mind, if you have to easy these guys, if you haven't done your free 77 multi ticket, they need to be easy 8 and rainbowed, all three of them. So just keep that in mind. Even if you don't want to do them, you should probably do it just to get that free LR multi.
Yeah, and I always recommend to people to always farm free-to-play units, because you never know when they're going to be needed for another ECA, and there could be a unit that you really want to ECA, and then it's like all of a sudden, oh, I could have had that unit, or I need to have that unit on it. So I usually recommend doing it. That's a big thing with the Prime Battle EZAs, is you have to use these full rainbow free-to-play teams. So it's nice to have the units ready to go, especially with these year 7s. I know we've been talking about that they're not very good free-to-play units, but you all want to grind them up now, because once the event goes away, it won't even be available with keys until it returns, and we don't know when that's going to be necessarily, right? So have they even returned on JP yet?
I don't think so.
So like as of like to this day, since January, you wouldn't even be able to use keys then.
I could check right now, actually. I don't remember at the top of my head, right? They return like so many different things at so many different times, right? It's hard to actually keep track of it, but
right.
I would say I don't remember it coming back, but I could no. I think the EZA did come back, because I think they did come back.
Okay.
On JP, but that's when they added the Goku Jr. and Vegeta Jr. EZA, right?
Yeah.
So that Extreme Z area return, and I'm assuming the units also return with them. On global, I don't know when they'll return, whatever, right? Because you guys already got Goku Juniors EZA, right? The Goku
Right.
and Vegeta Juniors LR. So who knows? I'll double check that right now.
Yeah, and I think just the bottom line is you don't want to put yourself in a position where you might want the unit and then you can't get them. And even for newer players, like newer players don't just have keys sitting around. So like it's nice to not have to use keys and to actually get these units. Because I remember the big thing was I started my YouTube channel last year after like during the 6-year anniversary. And the big thing was when I was doing team building guides and stuff, like the U7 team was one of the best teams, and there's all these free to plays, and then everyone wanted the units and they couldn't get them because their events were gone. And it's like, oh, when will they come back? When will they come back? Same thing with the Ginyu EZA that came out shortly after with Worldwide. People really wanted them because I recommended them in my videos, but then it was like, well, they're not around. You got to wait till they came back. And the Ginyu EZA took a really long time to come back. So yeah, I just recommend grabbing these units now. They're there, they're free, there's free rewards. There's no reason not to do them, even if the units are bad. You don't have to go on rainbow them, but I would just get them SA10 fully awakened at the bare minimum, and then for the rewards for this one you have to rainbow them, but normally on a free to play you don't have to rainbow them. But yeah, for these ones you want to rainbow if you want the 77 ticket pull for sure.
And then again, keep in mind it'll take you like an hour at most to farm with these units. Maybe a little longer because I know the LR kind of has the drop rates aren't the best, right? But it's not gonna take you that long to go ahead and get the units there. And I'm actually gonna check the keys right now and see if that event ever returns. I don't see it, but it might be somewhere in here. So give me a minute. I guess I'll find the event, right?
Yeah, you can just I'll just move on and then you can let us know later if you found it or not. So with that, we have part EX coming. Oh, you found it?
I just found it. Yeah, they did return. So like I'll show on the screen here. See, they're there with keys. So they do eventually return, at least on JP because of the Goku and Vegeta Junior EZA, but global, who knows, right?
Yeah, we just don't know. So just get them done, especially because you want to do that 77 unit multi for sure. So we've got part EX coming up. We all know the Super Saiyan 4 EZAs are coming. But there's also an all-star raid coming with this that has 999 stages. So Minato, since you've experienced this on JP, do you just want to give us all a summary of what this is?
So it's 999 stages. I'll actually pull it up on my screen right now and put it up to the camera as well. I don't know how well we all will be able to see it, but you see there's a full 999 stages that you have to beat. This is essentially going through all the different Dragon Ball sagas, except for I don't think GT wasn't here. It's going through all these different Dragon Ball sagas. You are essentially beating it with different teams for each different phase, I guess, of the saga, right? You use like Dragon Ball Saga, then like, Terrifying Conquerors at some point, stuff like that. Even Defenders of Justice at a point, right? And essentially you go through each of these all the way to hit level 999. You get a total of about 277 Dragon Stones. You get a ton of potential orbs, right? Like I got it's like 2,800 small. It's like 20,000 medium, and then like 4,000 large or something like that, or 15,000 medium, something like that, right? It's enough to rainbow like at least like 10 units of each typing, and I'll show my orbs on screen as well. But because of that, I have like tons of potential orbs from that event, right? Like half of these I'm showing on the screen are from that event, right? It's the camera's not focusing on it, but you guys can kind of see the numbers, right? Maxed out like small orbs and stuff like that, right? It's a absurdly good event. You get tons of Zenny too, right? And yeah, there's just a lot. It's a really good free event. You're not timed to do it. It's available whenever you want to do it. It's permanently there. You don't have to get all of it done at once, like in one day, like I did, right? But it's there and just free 250 stones, basically. Really, really good, and will help you guys save for Worldwide.
Yeah, very nice. So Joker, are you excited for this? Are you gonna do like a crazy 12-hour stream and get it done one day, or what's your plan to tackle this raid?
I'm still trying to decide what I want to do for this. I don't know if I want to do
12
a 12-hour
hours is
stream.
that's not even enough.
Okay, well I just threw out a number. So 24-hour stream? I don't know. Whatever.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
I got things to do during the day. I think I'll just tackle it bit by bit. I don't know if I'm going to stream it or not. I'm not, because it's forever, right? It doesn't go away. So you're not, unless you are really hurting for all those rewards, you can let it sit and just do it in bits and bits and bits and not dedicate, 3 days of your life to it, like World Tournament or something.
I mean, I'll just say I have a full video on my channel covering it if you guys are asking.
Oh my
Well,
god.
Minato, are we locked into? Are there limited units we can use, or can you use anything on this?
You could use any unit. So I know a strat was like for the first like 600 and 700 stages, I just used the year 7s because they just blew through it, right? With
Yep.
their super effectiveness. But eventually, when you're like at stage like 750, 800, you start getting hit really hard without the type of units like an actual EZA. So you want to
Yep.
start using those actual units in the category boost. But realistically, you don't actually have to do that. You could just blow through it with like the Super Saiyan 4 stuff. And it moves by pretty fast.
Okay.
And Global has extra units that I didn't have, back when I did it. So there's probably some extra options you guys will have available to you.
Can we auto battle this or not?
Yeah, I believe you can auto it. I wouldn't recommend autoing it, of course, in the higher stages.
Right.
But you can auto it if you really wanted to, right? It's just that, it's like an EZA where the auto, you have to click on it each time you click into the stage, right?
Sure. Okay. My dude Tystra, do you get any thoughts on the raid or how you're going to tackle it?
I mean, I'm just gonna go with what I see on the screen, to be honest. I want to try and put on different teams personally, just because I don't want to just do like I get we could use the SSJ4s and stuff, but I kind of want to switch it up because then I can actually play with the other units that I have, instead of just going with the same team over and over again. But I'm excited just because the fact that I'm always low on STR and int orbs, so I could definitely use a backlog of those. Especially since a lot of the units that I've been waiting to actually put orbs into are STR and int. So, but overall, it's gonna be a blast to actually be able to get some potential orbs in my actual bank.
Yeah, I'm always excited for those resources. And for me, STR orbs are like the lowest of the low. I don't know why my STRs are so lopsided, but I'll be excited to get those. And I do like that approach. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to auto slash just like quickly go through the easy stages. And then, yeah, maybe once I get to like stage 700 or something, maybe just have some fun with it and use it as an excuse to try out different teams, and just have fun and actually play and enjoy some of those team comps a little bit. So I think that'll kind of be my plan. And because it's not time gated, I won't be in a rush. It's basically, I think anytime I would be link leveling or just doing whatever, I might just be doing that instead. Link level maybe to keep my stamina down. And then as long as I'm not at max stam, maybe go into the raid event. So it'll definitely be something to do for those players that maybe complain about no content. This will keep you busy for hours and hours and hours. So just take your time with it. Don't rush and get it done in one day. The rewards will still be there. Any other thoughts on the raid event before we move on? All right, so next up we have some global exclusive content looming, which by the time this podcast goes up, it might have already been announced. I think Minato was thinking we might even find out tonight what it is. Minato, do you have any guesses as to what this exclusive content might be?
So to clarify, by tonight, we mean like, tonight, the 6th Saturday is when
Yes.
we're recording this, I guess, just to clarify for sure.
Yes. Yep.
But I think that, we could see like a producer letter or something, but it really could be a lot of things. Like, again, people are expecting an EZA. It could be a new free-to-play unit to replace the Goku and Vegeta Jr., which is what I expect. But we have to wait and see, honestly. They're very vague about it, so I think that you can't really, specifically guess one thing what it could be. It could be, for all we know, just a new difficult content event, right? It could be something crazy, right? We'll have to wait and see, but I'm very excited to see what global players will get because it's nice when each version gets new things at different times. It's interesting sometimes, though. I would prefer the versions just to get everything at the same time, but that's a whole other thing, I guess, right? I'm going down a rabbit hole.
Right. Tystra, what are your thoughts on this global exclusive event?
So personally, for me, I think it's going to be like another story event of some sort. That's really all I could say because really Minato kind of covered it. We already got the Goku Jr., Vegeta Jr., and in essence, like I truly feel that they would have to put another free-to-play unit to kind of take that slot, maybe. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be a story event, maybe possibly another hard event, but I'm leaning more towards the story event itself.
Okay. Joker, what about you?
Man, I'm still pushing for that AGL Gogeta and Super Broly EZA.
Yeah, I think that's wishful thinking, my friend.
I know, but I
don't think
want
so.
it so
I would
bad.
love it. That's totally like a worldwide type of EZA. Like that's a big time EZA, but I want it too, just as bad as you do for sure. I'm thinking if it's I mean it's probably going to be something Goku and Vegeta related, but if they're going to stray away from that, I'm thinking a story event with like a free to play Gamma 1 and 2. The timing would be good because the movie's about to launch here on Global in like 2 weeks about from now. So I feel like they got to start promoting that a little bit more on Global. I feel like there's like not a lot of hype around it right now. It's kind of like an afterthought, like, oh yeah, the movie's coming out. It's just there's been so much hype from the JP release, and a lot of us have already seen it already or know what's going to happen. But I want to be hyped to see the movie again, and I think they could do something in game to push that hype. I think if we did something related to superhero, that would be great. But who knows? We'll see. Any other thoughts on the global exclusive event? All right, let's go to the JP side. My boy Minato, Pan is here. Did you get her, and how good is she?
I did get her. She is pretty strong for sure. I would say that, she's definitely like a top tier 2R, 100%. I don't say she sucks or anything. She's very, very good. But the issue with Pan is, I think the units around her that they want you to use with her, Trunks, Giru, and then GG Goku specifically, not Super Saiyan 4 Goku, it's like, they're not good enough right now in the game. They brought out the Trunks and Giru, and they're nice, but they can get you like kind of clapped up a little in actual difficult content, right? And Pan has this little issue with her where after she attacks, she loses the damage reduction. I always thought that was kind of dumb that she lost it, and I've seen like a lot of clips where she ends up getting how to explain it, just floored, I guess, right? By a super attack after she attacks, right, with like 500k damage and stuff. So it's a little dangerous right there for sure, but I think she's great. She just didn't get like, I think, the love that she actually needed for her team. She didn't get as many like buffs to her actual core team that she wants. So it's a little unfortunate, but we'll see how the future turns out. I think she's strong, and personally, I would have her ranked like a Z tier kind of TUR kind of something like that. Like, I think Ginyu's better though, but that's really.
But
it,
you
right?
would put them. You would put them in that top tier together, though.
Yeah,
no
they would
doubt.
be in
Yeah.
that top tier together, like Z tier, right, for sure, right.
Yep.
Top tier TUR. She's very strong,
Yep.
and in the right situations, she could easily clear bosses for you.
For sure. Joker, did you pull for her on your side account, or have you watched video on her? What are your thoughts on Pan?
No, I don't have enough stones in my JP account, but I have seen gameplay, and I do agree that she is fantastically good at a lot of things. It's just that she has that one flaw where you have the damage reduction before you attack, and then after you attack, you don't have that anymore. And your defense is good, but you can easily get punished right after attacking, and you can die. And she doesn't have damage reduction anywhere else, so you have to run her in slot 1. And if there are no attacks before that, and there's 10 attacks after that, you might die. And I've seen a lot of that going on, and a lot of hate on the timeline for Pan. I think they're just really over hating at that point, because she's still a really good unit, because she has the active skill and she can delete health bars like Blue Cow can when he first came out. But she does have a flaw. But I mean, she's not Raditz, so let's calm down, okay?
That's right. There's definitely worse things than Pan out there for Dokkan Fest. Taisha, have you watched any on Pan? Do you have any opinions?
I've seen a good chunk of videos, honestly, and I've seen a lot of the hate that's been going on with Pan as well. But honestly, like, as Minato just said, she is a very good unit, Z tier type of unit. She does wondrous things, but the problem is just after that attack, she's defenseless. So I think that in general, she's really good Z tier, but from what I've seen with some of the showcases in Red Zone, while she absolutely hits like a truck, after she hits like a truck, she's just a glass cannon. Though before she attacks, she's obviously like a defensive juggernaut. So
yeah, to me, honestly, I really like Pan. I'm a fan of Pan as a character, and I do like the kit. The big thing with units is that there's units that are good after supering are like a dime a dozen, right? These slot 2 defensive units. So she has a ton of value in the fact that she is a slot 1 unit. and sure, she loses the damage reduction. I don't know if I would go as far to say that she's a glass cannon, because I think she's actually got very good defense after supering. It's just she can still be vulnerable without damage reduction in like red zone. But like if you're type advantage in red zone after supering, I think she actually probably can tank fine without her damage reduction. I think what Pan is missing, and Minato kind of alluded to this, I feel like her team is just missing like one or two pieces, namely like that really good dominant like just GT Goku, which is why I do think Worldwide has a decent chance to beat GT. I'm looking at like say that there's that STR banner unit GT Goku, and he does immense damage, which is very rare for a banner unit. I potentially could see that guy getting an EZA and being like a monster. I think there's still more to come for GT. I feel like this is just the tip of the iceberg here, and I think that there's more coming. I'm kind of rooting for GT for Worldwide at this point. I know I would take Dragon Ball Superhero also. Like that would be ridiculously hype. I'm such a Dragon Ball fan. I can get hype about any of it, to be honest. But I think that I feel like they're leading into something with GT here, because GT bosses keeps getting these weird little off like supports, like little buffs here and there, but the team isn't there. They don't have the leader. And I'm thinking this big baby celebration is coming with a GT boss is 200%. I've been link leveling my GT stuff like crazy. Even like the free to play Super Baby 2, I've been link leveling. So I'm kind of gearing up for it. So I'm kind of hoping GT. I know it's a little bit off topic, but I think since I brought up Worldwide, do any of you guys want to give your thoughts really quick just on what you think Worldwide's going to be now that we're really, really close to it? I'll start with you, Minato. Any thoughts? Do you like this idea of like Pan leading right into this GT celebration?
Cool.
Yeah.
Just kidding. So, I will say Worldwide could be like 10 different things or something at this point. Like, who cares, right? There's like so many different hype moments that they could redo at this point with the game. Like we had Cell Saga in 2019, Gohan Cell. They could redo that, right? We had Buu Saga. We haven't had Super Saiyan 3 Spirit Bomb Goku yet, an actual Kid. Well, we have Kid Buu, right? But there's a lot of things that Kid Buu does. Our new Buhan. We're gonna do Super Vegito. We can get like a new Vegito and Zamasu. Gogeta Broly. There's like tons of things they could do. And it's like, they haven't really targeted a specific, how do I say it? Like this year, they've just been wanting to get as many like, sagas, 200% leader skills out. So it could even be like Tournament of Power, something crazy like that, right?
Yeah.
Who knows? Because there's not really anything that they're necessarily building up to, like, previous years that kind of built up to these different things. Like we saw for not as much Namek Saga, but we saw that definitely with the Cell Saga and then Buu Saga, right? So we'll have to wait and see. I'm very excited, and if it's like a GT celebration, I'd be down with it though. But I think my most wanted is I think Buu Saga is my most wanted right now. Well, yeah, that would be my choice for most wanted. Or Future Saga would be cool too.
Yeah. Joker, do you have thoughts on Worldwide?
GT, baby. Step into the Grand Tour. Give me another Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and I'll be happy.
That's what I want. That's what I'm hoping for.
Also, off topic, I beat Omega.
Nice. See, there you go. That's the podcast luck. Who else haven't you beaten? You got to tackle that one next. Broly? Hop into Broly.
I'm out of attempts.
Okay.
Today.
All right. Tystra, do you have any thoughts on what Worldwide is going to be?
So I guess I'll be the black sheep of this one, but I'm honestly going to veer towards Dragon Ball Superhero. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because if we think about it, we got the movies and stuff like that. We just talked about, Gogeta and Broly getting an EZA. Like, wouldn't it be great to tie in the movies from the past into a big worldwide movie celebration, such as this? Yeah. Like, I think that GT would be good. It'd be fantastic as well, especially since we did just talk about with Pan leading into that celebration for JP. It'd be perfect. But I also think that from a business standpoint, especially with with the movie being like, everywhere and having so much being talked about it, I think that it would be perfect for them to do Dragon Ball Superhero as the main part of the celebration. Give us, the two units, which I'm pretty sure you guys could think of, the Super and the Extreme unit with the side banners, or side banner units, and story events, and then probably another revamp of another like movie story event, like maybe the Cooler one, or Bio Broly, give him an easy A, you know, that type, like something.
Yep.
But I think it's just way too geared in favor towards the movies than it is for GT.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, Dragon Ball Superhero has been one that I've been kind of rooting for a while. So whatever it is, I'll be excited for it. Now on JP, we did also get the EZA for the GT trio. My understanding from watching videos is they hit like a freaking truck, but they're a little bit lacking defensively. So Minato, have you used the GT trio much?
Yeah, they're good for sure. I would say that, you know, in the right circumstances, they could be very powerful. I just think that, I don't know. I because I haven't had a little more, sure. I think that they try to spread thin the unit and make them do like a lot of different things. But I would have preferred if they focused on a little more on just like two things rather than, you know, like they get attack lower, they get seal, they have a crit chance, you know, they get defense on super attack, stuff like that, right? They do a bunch of little different things that add up together, which make them a strong unit, but I think that that's not really they're not what Pan needed, right? Especially since they don't link up with her. I feel like a lot of like me personally, I would have liked for them to be something to help Pan, but they kind of just had it as just, you know, okay, we're just gonna make this unit strong and like independent, right? But they should have been more like, you know, of a helping role. I think that's what that team needed, not another like, you know, hard hitter with very good defense, right? Not just another one of those. Because Pan on that team is the one who's supposed to be taking care of all of that, right?
Yep.
While it's nice that they have that stuff, maybe should give them like some support passive or something, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. I won't necessarily call on everyone here, but just the global players. Do you have any thoughts on the GT trio at all, or did Minato pretty much say it all?
I think the best way to describe this unit is a jack of all trades but master of none.
Okay.
Like that's my only opinion on it. Like it's got a good kit spread out, like Minato said, but overall, like, yeah.
Yeah, they're a good slot 3. Like you need someone to nuke something to end the turn. That's good, but you kind of don't want them to be hit. Yeah.
Yeah.
They link up well with the Trunks and Giru, but you know, with 2 links with GTPMs, it's not great.
Right. Yeah, and like I said, my assessment is they're basically just like a generic like hit really hard type unit, but I really wanted them to have a support passive. I thought that would have been really really good for them. And especially since they don't link well with the pan, if they had a support to make up for it, then it might make it worth running them on rotation. Obviously they're going to activate her unit super attack multiple ways, so that would have been really good. But this is another reason, like I said, her team just feels a little bit off, a little bit incomplete. Which, whether it be worldwide or not, I think we're waiting on another big GT celebration to really flush this team out, right? So next we've got the hypeness that is LR Tien. He is the newest World Tournament LR. From what I'm hearing online, his animations, his art is really fire, but his kit not so much. So Minato, do you have this unit yet? Is he actually available right now on JP, or do we just have the data?
No, he's in the game right now. You could farm him
Yes.
if you want.
Okay.
I actually haven't finished that yet, but
Or sorry, I
I've
might have said
seen-
World Tournament, but it's Prime Battle, right? Yes,
Yeah, the Prime Battle one, yeah.
Prime Battle. That's my bad. I said World Tournament, but Prime Battle. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, his animations are actually insane. I love his animations, his OST. You know, the voice acting it's all so good. It's like top 10 in the game or something, right? In my opinion, it's just that good. And I will say that unfortunately his kit does fall short a little bit, right? He could be viable in certain situations, but it's just that these flat boost passives. I don't know why they keep giving these units like these kind of flat boot passive for, you know, Prime Battles, right? At this point, just give him percentage passes. I don't see the point. It really does hold that Tien back from being, you know, as good as he could have been with like just the flat passives, but I guess it is what it is, right? At least it's like thematic with the 10,300, 10 sen, right? So yeah.
Yeah, isn't his passive, because I think it's getting to the point where like for these flat passive units to actually keep up and be viable, they have like 100,000. Isn't his passive like 100,000 something multiple times in his kit? I think it's something crazy like that.
Something like that, like 103,000. Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, and it's just like the numbers are going to get so big, so it's like, yeah, why not just do like 103% and do 103% multiple times? That would make a lot more sense, and I'm sure that's what his EZA is going to be. Joker, do you have any thoughts on the Tien?
in 3 years. So
In 3 years, exactly.
We give
yeah.
a Prime Battle LR in 2022 a flat passive, and then in 2025 he finally gets a percentage. Of which case, based on most of the other Prime Battle LRs that have come out recently, he's going to be pretty mid. So why not just make him good from the start? And then when his EZA does happen to come around, he ends up being actually very useful. Like I don't understand their reasoning right here. So he's good. His animations are good. Very, very good. His kit is underwhelming because it's flat passive. He has a lot of stuff in his kit, which I cannot deny, but he's still
But yeah, they just have to kill that flat passive. Yeah, they got to kill that flat passive, and it's like Earthlings needs the help. So like he would be really good on that Earthling team.
The Saints are such a broken category, you can't give him percentages.
Yeah, exactly. It's too broken. I mean, Raditz is going to carry, so I mean, Tien would be too much. Tystra, do you have thoughts on LR Tien?
Raditz, Tien, best linking partners. No, I'm kidding. But no,
get him off the podcast.
But it's basically going to be piggybacking at this point. Yeah, unfortunately, they have the pattern of every Prime Battle LR that comes out is going to have flats, and I don't. Again, like they said, I don't understand it either. It seems so stupid, especially with how the game has evolved into such a different thing than it was even like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, in fact, that Prime Battle LR should not be doing flats anymore. So I'm in agreement of that. When his EZA comes out, it's gonna be like amazing. Probably like the best Prime Battle EZA, obviously, because that's what they want to do. They want to keep making these like amazingly good. But again, until that happens, this flat passive, it's, as we all say, mid.
Yeah, Prime Battle EZAs have been a little hit and miss because like when the Goku and Frieza first EZA, they were really good for when they came out, but then like the Trunks was a little underwhelming. I think the Vegeta is just downright bad. I don't even think we got him yet on Global, and it's like
no, not yet.
I'm totally not excited for that guy. So it's gonna be hit or miss. It'll just depend on the time, but I hope
he's coming this month.
I hope when he EZAs, it's going to be very, very good because Tien needs good units. So, yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about the. We also got a Uub EZA, right? So, this Uub I know already had some value with like the revive mechanic and everything in there. So, Minato, is this like a red zone viable unit? Like, how good is this Uub?
Red zone viable.
I'm asking legitimately. Do you think he's red zone viable? I don't know.
I think the heal could be valuable for sure, right? I actually again haven't really used him much. I tried him out once. He's a good unit, but I think that they could have given him a little more. I know a lot of people don't like the Uub. I think he's better than people give credit for, and the heal could really help you in certain situations, right? I could see him potentially being on like someone's Broly clear run just because of that heal. He has type advantage at the end, stuff like that, right? But I don't know. It's just a little weird. I think that they tried something new with his passive, right? He's like the only unit that really has something like that, but I think kind of didn't pan out. Well, they made it like too much of an important effect that's conditional like that, like an extra 120% to attack and defense for him. That would have been huge for him just to have, right? Considering he has nothing else multiplicative, but it is what it is. I think he could be very strong, and he'll be good super battle rating, I think, for sure, with that heal, the debuffing, right? So I'll be interested to see how he looks like once you use more of him.
Yeah, I know the big thing with him that I liked was that they made him like a support unit now, but then I think some people criticize him because in some situations he loses the support. Is that right?
Yeah, so like it depends on if you have a Majin Power category
that's right.
on rotation, right? If there is one on rotation with him, he supports. If there's not, he gets the extra stats, right?
The extra stats, okay. And it would have been just nice if he had the stats and the support all the time, but gotcha. Joker, do you have any thoughts on Uub?
Yeah, I think the only thing it would have changed is when he does fuse into Majub, if you just take it and, he has the flat 120 and then you get another 120 on super attack. You take out the whole I'm the only Majin Power unit, which is fine on like the GT team because he's the only Majin Power unit in GT. So I mean, it makes sense. If you do want to run him on like a full Majin Power, then I guess you're good on support, but it's not like he links terribly well with the rest of them, right?
Right.
Well, he's got Majin and Master of Magic, I guess. But still, he could have been a little bit better. His base form, I'm glad that he still doesn't have any restriction to his fusing parts. So if you take damage turn 1, turn 3, you come in and you're just gonna fuse. So you can have it whenever you want. But his base form is pretty underwhelming, and it's got that, the more HP you have, the better your stats are. So if you take a big hit or take somewhat of a hit against a very hard boss, but you're not within that fusing condition, your stats are going to look pretty awful because LRs don't get anything for their EZA. They just get SA 25, right?
Right. And I think being the fact too that this is a battlefield LR, I think people need to really look at the unit and evaluate if they're going to use him, if they want to invest, because EZA medals are quite the investment on top of buying the unit. Minato, do you know how much his EZA medals cost? Like to fully EZA, how much battlefield currency it costs?
I think it's like 675 or something, right? 1,000, right? Obviously.
yeah, that's a chunk. That's a chunk.
Yeah, it's the same amount as the Genyu Force took.
Well, yeah,
and
then
people were already losing their minds over how much that cost.
Right, so and there's the Metal Cooler army, so if you already EZA'd them, do you really have the currency to EZA this guy? So I'm feeling like you kind of got to be kind of choosy with these guys because you don't have unlimited battlefield currency out there. It's kind of tricky. Tystra, do you have any thoughts on Uub?
I mean, really, like, it's just difficult because you're getting those boosts for how much health that you have, and then you fuse when you have 50% or lower. But at the same time, like, I feel as though if you're going to take a big hit in the first place, you're not going to be able to recover with him. It could be good later on down the road, but that's really all I have for him. I haven't personally seen gameplay of his, so I can't really give too much of an opinion, but just overall, the base form passive with what he needs for his conditions already kind of turned me off from him.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if I'm going to fully invest. I think he does have value though with that healing in his kit. So it's just going to be up to the individual player and what their box is. Last topic. This should be a pretty quick one. Vegeta family, Extreme Super Battle Road. Minato, do you want to tell us how easily you crushed this thing?
Yeah, it was very, very simple. Vegeta and Trunks, right? Like, they just clear it, right? You just, use some Whis and you're good. Majin Vegeta is really good for the round. You could do Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, right? There's just tons of options to really get around that stage, stun and everything, and just pretty easily clear it. So it was pretty fun. I think sure, right, to use Vegeta and Trunks.
Can you do well without Vegeta and Trunks, though?
Yeah, just bring a friend, right? And then you're good. I mean, if you're running like double Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, it'll be more challenging, or double Majin Vegeta should work too. But the stage does hit you hard, though. I will say that, the super attacks can hit you pretty hard. So you want to be careful with those. Because even my Vegeta and Trunks, like, obviously they're a stacking unit, right? But they took around like 200k with their guard fully built up, right, against these bosses. So they can hit you pretty hard because that Vegeta and Trunks are very, very defensive, right?
I was wondering if they were scaling it versus them, or if they were going to give him a little break and not make him hit quite as difficult. But if they're scaling it with the Vegeta and Trunks in mind, then that makes sense.
I mean, my Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, post super attack, where he's on the 200% leader skill with them, he took around 430, 450k or so, which that is survivable, but obviously it's a good chunk of damage, right?
Yeah.
So basically, just be careful. Even when you have your, even if you had the perfect team, still you could get caught off guard with just one of those things.
Yeah, just a little, right? So obviously, with Super Battle Road, as always, you kind of need some RNG with it, I think, at times, but it wasn't that bad of a stage because Vegeta family has been getting a ton of units this year.
What about the SBR God Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta? How'd he do?
I didn't bring him. Oh, no, not God Vegeta, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, right? He did really well. Okay. But even he, like against normal attacks, he's starting to take a little bit of damage. Like around like 8-ish thousand or something, right? Like very small damage, but just a little bit, right? So you can tell these bosses are starting to hit hard.
Yeah, I think the nice thing with Vegeta family, though, is they do have a lot of good Super Battle Road units with the fact that they've got a lot of stunners on there. You've got the Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta who's tanking and stunning. And then STR Super Vegeta gets guaranteed stun. Now, he could be defensively probably a little bit of a liability, but guaranteed crit, guaranteed stun is always a good thing. I don't know, Minato, do you think it's possible to get the Int Majin Vegeta's AoE attack off in that stage, or do you feel like it takes too long?
Again, it's possible, but I feel like a lot of the times, like, I cleared it within, like, 2, maybe 3 phases at most, right? So
Yeah.
you'd have to take like 6 attacks, like in the first turn with them. And even then, if you're gonna run like Vegeta and Trunks, you put them against most of the attacks, right?
Yeah.
Because keep in mind, in that stage, they don't have to be in slot 1, right? Because they have the parent and child bond ally, right? So they can guard in any slot for the first 5 turns when that's happened, right? But they get extra stats against the slot 1, so you would prefer them there.
Right. All right. Well, does anybody else have anything they want to add before we wrap up today's podcast?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, we'll wrap things up there. This is going to do it for our show today. This has been episode 94 of the Dokkan Battle Podcast. I would like to thank our guests today, Minato, Ice Cold Joker, and Tystra. Thanks to Vilify for helping us out behind the scenes. Thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring today's podcast. Don't forget to use the code 59gaming at checkout to get 20% off your entire order. My name is Joe Wags. It has been an honor hosting for y'all today. Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll catch y'all on the next one.